Do you remember a situation where it would have benefited you to remain silent? Yes, right? Stoicism, a philosophy from ancient Greece, resonates today for its relevance in a chaotic and uncertain world. The philosophical school teaches the importance of maintaining serenity in the face of adversity, acting according to reason, and accepting what we cannot control. Remaining silent in the context of Stoicism can be seen as a practice of self-control and wisdom. It's about knowing when to speak and when it's wiser to keep silent, recognizing that not all situations require our verbal intervention. There are multiple benefits to silence. Do you know what they are? Well, to start with, it fosters improved concentration. That is to say, silence creates an environment conducive to attention and concentration, allowing you to perform tasks more effectively. It also promotes inner calm, fosters a sense of peace, tranquility, and mental clarity, and cultivates patience and mindfulness, enabling you to face challenges with a greater sense of composure. But this is not today's topic. In fact, there's a video on the channel where I talk about the benefits of silence. I highly recommend you watch it as a complement to this discussion. Well, the Stoics valued internal peace and tranquility of the soul and considered silence to be a powerful response to external chaos. By refraining from speaking unnecessarily, we promote introspection and avoid unnecessary disturbance of the mind and environment. This practice is not only a way to maintain inner peace, but also to exercise the virtue of discretion, highly valued in Stoic philosophy. Ultimately, Stoic silence is a path to ataraxia, the state of undisturbed tranquility that the Stoics considered essential for a good and fulfilling life. There are moments when you must stay silent, no negotiation. If you want to become a good Stoic, I ask you not to do it just to follow a philosophy of life, but to grow mentally. I ask you to follow these tips to become a person who faces their problems with resilience, not because you've already jumped on the bandwagon of this philosophy, but because you want to become a better person. Okay, it's time to start. But before, I want to invite you to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell to be informed when I upload more videos like this. Now, without further ado, let's begin. Situation number 1 in which you must stay silent when it comes to gossip. Rumors, phenomena beyond our control, are seen by the Stoics as distractions that can disturb our inner peace and divert us from the pursuit of virtue. According to this philosophy, by remaining silent in the face of rumors, we exercise the discipline of self-control and preserve our serenity. Thus avoiding falling into the trap of negative emotions such situations can generate. The Stoic response to rumors is a manifestation of strength and an affirmation that our worth does not depend on others' opinions but on our own ability to live according to reason and nature. Responding to rumors only gives them more attention and makes them more likely to persist. By staying calm and not reacting, you avoid feeding the fire and reduce the likelihood of rumors intensifying. So, even if they say things that really don't represent you, it can make us very angry, I would say. But responding to gossip or rumors with anger or frustration only shows that they affect you. By staying calm and serene, you show that you have control over your emotions and are not disturbed by gossip. Additionally, he who owes nothing fears nothing. Responding to rumors or gossip can worsen the situation and damage your reputation. By remaining silent, you avoid saying something you might regret and maintain your dignity. If the rumors are false, the truth will eventually come to light. It's not necessary to defend yourself if you know the truth is on your side. By staying calm and focused on your goals, you avoid wasting time and energy on trivialities. Stoicism considers calmness and composure to be important virtues. Staying silent in the face of rumors is a way to practice these virtues and strengthen your character. It's important to remember that staying silent doesn't mean you have to accept rumors or gossip as true. If you believe your reputation is being unfairly damaged, you can take steps to defend yourself, but do so calmly and rationally. In summary, Stoicism recommends staying silent in the face of rumors or gossip because it's the best way to protect yourself, maintain your reputation, and promote peace and harmony. Situation number 2, in which you must stay silent when dealing with insults. Stoicism can be a powerful strategy for preserving mental tranquility and personal dignity. This practice is based on the idea that our reaction to insults is under our control, even if the actions of others are not. As Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, said, "It's not the events that disturb people, it's their judgments about the events." This suggests that we can choose not to let negative comments affect us emotionally. Furthermore, responding to insults with silence can disarm the aggressor and prevent the situation from escalating. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, another prominent Stoic, "The best revenge is to be unlike your enemy." Staying silent also reflects an understanding that hurtful words often arise from the ignorance or pain of the other person and not necessarily reflect the truth about ourselves. Seneca, for his part, advised, "He who decides a case without hearing the other side, though he decides justly, cannot be considered just." In practice, staying silent requires self-discipline and a deep understanding of Stoic principles. It's about recognizing that we can only control our own actions and responses, and that serenity comes from focusing on this rather than on the actions of others. Modern psychology supports this view, particularly in cognitive behavioral therapy, which teaches people to identify and change thought patterns that can lead to negative emotional responses. To apply these principles in real situations, one could start by taking a deep breath when faced with an insult, remembering that the power of the situation lies in how you choose to respond. It's helpful to remember quotes like Epictetus's, "If someone speaks badly of you, don't worry. The opinions of others can't harm you." Over time and with practice, staying silent in the face of insults can become a natural response that promotes inner peace and emotional resilience. Responding to an insult with anger or frustration only worsens the situation and makes you feel worse. Furthermore, it will only intensify the situation and may lead to a fight or escalation of violence. Demonstrating calmness, therefore, will make you appear mature and show that you have control over your emotions. Remember that the insult does not define who you are. It's just one person's opinion of you. It doesn't define your worth as a person, so don't take the insult personally. Situation number 3, in which you must stay silent when dealing with anger. Don't let yourself be carried away by anger, because anger leads to crime, as Marcus Aurelius said. Maintaining calm and silence during moments of anger can be beneficial for mental health and interpersonal relationships. Anger, an intense and often negative emotion, can lead to impulsive and harmful responses. Remember that the foundation on which Stoicism was built is self-control and logic over emotions. Acting under the influence of anger is to give up reason and allow an emotion to disturb our inner peace and judgment. Seneca described anger as a brief madness and warned of its destructive effects. In psychology, it's recognized that anger can cloud our judgment and lead to behaviors that we later regret. Therefore, it's recommended to take a moment to breathe deeply, count to 10, or seek a distraction to allow the mind to calm down and respond more reflectively. To apply these principles in everyday life, it's helpful to identify which situations trigger anger and consciously work to change our perspective on them. This may involve questioning whether the object of our anger is within our control, and if it's not, practicing acceptance. Furthermore, developing empathy and compassion can help us better understand others and reduce the likelihood of feeling anger towards them. With calmness and reason as guides, we can turn anger into a force for good, a tool to build a better world for ourselves and others. Situation number 4, in which you must stay silent when unjustly criticized. Imagine someone has just unfairly criticized you. Your initial reaction might be to argue to set things straight, but here's a Stoic twist. Ask yourself whether this criticism is true or not. Remember that your worth and self-esteem don't depend on others' opinions or judgments. Stoicism teaches us that our core identity and integrity remain intact regardless of external evaluation. Then, consider the source of the criticism. Stoicism urges us to reflect on the intentions and perspectives of the critic. Often, unjust criticism has more to do with the critic's perceptions, insecurities, or internal struggles than with you. By understanding this, you can see the criticism for what it really is, a reflection of the critic, not of you. Analyze it objectively. Is there something valuable you can learn? Something you can improve? According to the Stoics, reacting to unjust criticism can disturb our inner peace and lead us to a state of agitation contrary to eudaimonia, or the well-being of the soul. For example, Marcus Aurelius advises, when someone hurts you, you can decide not to do anything, not to say anything, and not to feel any resentment. This quote reflects the idea that the response to injustice doesn't always require external action. Sometimes strength and dignity reside in stillness and internal reflection. To practice this verbal response abstention, Stoic psychology proposes exercises in self-control and reflection. For example, one could take a moment to consider the possible reasons behind the other person's criticism, leading to a deeper understanding of their perspective and possibly a more peaceful resolution of the conflict. Furthermore, cognitive behavioral psychology, influenced by Stoicism, suggests techniques such as cognitive restructuring to change the way we interpret negative events, thereby reducing emotional reactivity and promoting a more measured and thoughtful response. Daniel Goleman said, "Emotional intelligence is the ability to identify, understand, and manage our own emotions, as well as those of others. Staying calm in the face of unjust criticism is the best way to protect yourself, maintain your self-esteem, and promote peace and harmony. Remember what I told you when I talked about staying calm and not fueling the flames when someone insults you? Apply those principles when someone unfairly criticizes you." Situation number 5 in which you must stay silent when dealing with loss. It hurts. I'm really sorry. Loss is never easy. You're a warrior today because you're fighting this great battle known as grief. However, this practice is based on the notion that silence allows for deep introspection and prevents the impulsive expression of emotions that may not reflect our true feelings or that may cause more harm. As Stoic philosophy teaches us, we shouldn't base our happiness on the outcomes of our actions, but on our own will and conduct in the face of life's events. Loss is an unavoidable component of human life, whether it's the loss of a loved one, a relationship, or even an aspect of our identity. It's a harsh reality and can be extremely painful. However, in the midst of our suffering, Stoicism stands as a beacon of hope and resilience. In psychology, especially in cognitive behavioral therapy, it's recognized that managing emotions through reflection and pausing before speaking can lead to a better understanding and management of our emotional reactions. Acknowledge the pain that accompanies loss, but don't force yourself to suppress it. Stoicism reminds us that although we can't control what we lose, we can control how we react to that loss. Imagine you've suffered a significant loss and feel like the world is crumbling around you. This is where Stoicism encourages you to stop and take a deep breath, allowing yourself to feel your emotions and cry. Remember that your emotions are natural responses and not commands. You can feel sadness, anger, or confusion without letting these feelings dictate your actions or define your future. Look at loss as an opportunity for growth. Every loss, no matter how devastating, contains the seeds of new beginnings, new strengths, and new wisdom. Ask yourself what this loss can teach you. How can it contribute to your growth? It's not about finding immediate answers or forcing positive aspects. It's about being open to the possibility that even in loss there are lessons that can enrich your life. Situation number 6 in which you must stay silent. When someone talks to you about their problems, sometimes people just want someone to focus on their problems to help them feel better. They may not be ready to simply accept advice at the moment and just want someone to listen. Think about it. When you want to talk about your problems, do you expect someone to scold you or criticize your actions? Don't try to solve their problems. Sometimes we just need to listen. If you're not sure if someone wants you to help them solve their problems or just listen, I suggest you ask them before the conversation starts. Asking them beforehand helps clarify misunderstandings and allows you to help that person as best you can. This is a good time to stay silent because you can help others with your silence. Psychology appreciates silence as a therapeutic tool that facilitates the other person's expression without interruptions, which can be crucial for the emotional healing process. Staying silent doesn't imply a lack of participation, but a conscious and respectful presence. To achieve this, it's recommended to practice mindfulness and active listening, techniques that help focus on the present moment and on the person speaking without judging or interrupting. As Nassim Nicholas Taleb once said, "The wise man listens to meaning, the fool only gets noise." Knowing when to speak and when to be silent is an art. Pay attention to the signals the person gives you. If they're receptive to advice, you can offer your help, but if they just need to be heard, your silence will be the best way to support them. Situation number 7 in which you must stay silent: when someone demonstrates their ignorance. Do you know about the Dunning-Kruger effect? Various studies conducted by psychologists have revealed a human tendency to perceive ourselves as more competent than we really are in certain social and intellectual areas, a phenomenon that will be detailed later. In essence, we tend to inflate our own abilities and skills. According to researchers, this tendency to overestimate is largely due to the fact that individuals with limited abilities face a complex dilemma. Not only are they prone to making wrong judgments and wrong decisions, but their lack of competence prevents them from recognizing their own errors in judgment and action. This lack of metacognitive self-awareness prevents them from recognizing their own incompetence. We'll see many people talking about topics that we, through much dedication to studying the same, master. This will make us feel uncomfortable and eager to correct their ignorance. But think about this. Does a person who has the audacity to speak confidently about topics they don't master expect someone to correct them? Will it be you who proves it? Will it be you who dedicates forces to change the opinion of someone who didn't have the decency to inform themselves better before speaking publicly about a topic they don't master or know? Staying silent in the face of others' ignorance can be a way to avoid unnecessary conflicts and preserve inner peace. Seneca advised, "We must take walks outdoors so that the mind can be nourished and refreshed by the open air and deep breathing." This implies a focus on self-care and personal reflection, instead of confronting every display of ignorance we encounter. To apply these teachings in everyday life, one can start by recognizing that each person has their own learning path, and that patience is a virtue when faced with ignorance. Furthermore, it's useful to remember that silence can be a powerful response, and that it's not always necessary to have the last word. The practice of reflection and introspection recommended by the Stoics can also help us better understand our own reactions and develop greater empathy toward others, even when their perspectives differ from ours. Situation number 8, in which you must stay silent. During negotiations. The strategic use of silence can infuse an air of mystery and authority, as it can lead the counterpart to think that one is willing to withdraw rather than accept something inferior to the expected outcome. Silence is often uncomfortable for many, and its application in negotiations can be an effective method to reaffirm our expectations. Express yourself clearly and then remain silent. This act demonstrates confidence in your words and respect for the interlocutor, giving them space to express themselves. Furthermore, silence gives the other party an opportunity to reflect and possibly make mistakes in their argumentation. By remaining silent, we facilitate the counterpart revealing more than benefits our position. To apply this strategy, it's important to be mentally prepared to resist the pressure to speak. One can start with a friendly greeting and questions that generate affinity, then give the floor to the interlocutor after presenting a condition or receiving a counteroffer. It's essential to pause and allow silence to work in our favor, thus avoiding unnecessary concessions or the perception of insecurity. Moments of silence can be tactical, benefiting both personally and those around us. And the last situation in which you must stay silent is when you don't have something good to say. Just because you feel obliged to include something doesn't mean you should. Instead, it might be agreeing with what another person has said. It can be difficult to say that you have nothing to add. Allow yourself to admit when you have nothing to say instead of speaking for the sake of it and making things worse. Staying silent allows for deeper reflection and prevents rash judgments or actions that may not be beneficial. Silence is more than just the absence of sound. It's a form of communication, a tool of influence, a symbol of strength and wisdom. As it was once said, silence is a source of great strength. In our noisy world, the power of silence is often overlooked. From fostering better relationships to aiding personal growth, the strategic use of silence can truly change the rules of the game. For more advice like this, you know what to do. If someone else shares your fondness for Stoicism, invite them to stroll through the channel. Well, that's all for today. I sincerely hope that this message has been useful to you. I want to congratulate you greatly for having come this far and for having finished the video. That means that you want to improve as a person. If you liked the video, leave your comment. You don't know what to comment. Comment "I dare," so I know you made it to the end. If you are not yet subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe now and join us. Thank you for your attention. Until next time, warrior.